If you're watching this, it might already be too late. Sure, you can go check, you can go try right now. If you're early enough, maybe you can still get your favorite games off of the 3DS and Wii U shops because they're closing forever, and chances are, if you're watching this, they may already be closed. I know this video is going up very close to the date and time in which they do close. And that sucks. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit because every time a digital store is announced that it's going to close, it makes me a little bit worried in terms of just the future of gaming because game preservation is important. I think a lot of people who play as many video games as I do appreciate game preservation one way or another. I mean, quite frankly, that's why I buy physical versions of games. I just happen to have Octopath Traveler 2. Like, I decided to buy this physically, not digitally. Anytime that there is a physical opportunity for me to buy a game, I will. Because I just don't trust companies, particularly Nintendo, to eventually get rid of their digital stores and potentially have hundreds of games potentially to never see the light of day again. And that's particularly true with a lot of these small games from indie developers. I am so worried about the day that the Switch store will just go away forever. Because I haven't looked at the numbers, but the number of games that have to be on the Switch that are digital only, that if that store closes, oh my God, I don't want to think about that right now. My inspiration for this video came from the completionist who went through and over the course of a year purchased every 3DS and Wii U game available in the library. And my God, go watch the video yourself. I'm going to leave a link in the description below. But it is a painstaking process that took a year, and they went through so many different roadblocks with Nintendo even trying to stop them along the way, just like with the natural, like, oh, you're putting in too much money into your store account. Are you a 6-year-old child with your parents' credit card trying to buy $22,000 worth of games? Now, when it comes to game preservation, I do have a lot more respect for companies like Sony, PlayStation, right? A long time ago, they announced that they were going to get rid of the PSP store, the PlayStation Vita store, and the PlayStation 3 store, and the community, myself included, were in uproar. We didn't like that at all. For obvious reasons, it's about game preservation and the ability to access all of these previous games, which, thank goodness, Sony decided to listen to the community, decided to leave up the PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 3 stores, at least for the time being. Which, thank goodness, because I still actively use my PlayStation Vita and my PlayStation 3. I mean, even literally right now, I'm in the middle of a Final Fantasy 13 gameplay, which I would like to actually go through the downloaded DLC content for that game, which I would not be able to have if the PlayStation 3 store was not there. I know eventually I'll be able to fight Gilgamesh. I'm excited about that. But game preservation is only topic number one here with the shutting down of the 3DS and Wii U shops. We also have price gouging of physical games, that these games are just going to get harder and harder and harder to find. Look, pick any game, any popular game from the N64 era, even from the Wii U era, go all the way back to like the Super Nintendo. How much does that game cost? I'll give you, pause the video, go check it. Myself, I'm going to go to, let's go Amazon. Let's go check out Pokemon Blue version, the first Pokemon game I ever got. $125. Perfect. That's a lot of money to legally play a game. And here's the issue that I have with price gouging. Most of the people wanting to purchase these games are gamers. We want to re-experience old games that we really enjoyed in our childhood, or even go back and play some old classic games that we missed out the first go around, or maybe you're of the younger generation and you want to experience what it was like to play the first Pikmin. But if you want to do that, you better shell out $400. See, I do feel like the people who are purchasing these games are doing it for a flex. The people who are even selling these games aren't gamers. The people who are buying these games either are gamers that are incredibly well off and are willing to shell out $500-$600 for some very old popular games, or they're non-gamers who just want to buy it like, hey, look how much money I have. Look at all these old expensive games that I have. Look, I have money. The markups are just so incredibly high, and it is an issue that is directly exacerbated by the shutting down of digital stores. It may not help with the prestige of owning a physical copy. I do expect those to always kind of be high in terms of like just a markup because, you know, I get it. Granted, there's a prestige about owning one of the original copies of Pokemon Blue. I get that. But if you're the average Joe Schmo gamer, you don't have hundreds of dollars to just spend on these overly priced old games, but you still want to play Pokemon Blue, wouldn't it be nice to be able to access it somehow? Like you can with the 3DS shop? Like, I know this is a 2DS, but you get my point. I can still get 3DS games on this. Nintendo in particular has made it so that the only way to be able to play these games is by pirating them, by going in and downloading various ROMs and various software that can play those ROMs in order to access old games. You know, let's say I want to play Pikmin. You know, my options are, do I want to buy a GameCube, which I don't know how much a refurbished GameCube costs right now. It's got to be a few $100s, I would imagine. And a copy of Pikmin, which may or may not work at this point. And I have to wait however long it takes for Amazon to deliver it to me. Or do I just go on the internet and pirate the game? Or do I just download a ROM and a software and then bada bing, bada boom, I'm playing the game? Most of the time, Nintendo doesn't like that. And that annoys me really bad because, like, we want to play your game. Give us access to the game. If Nintendo allows access to these games, like if they allow me access to Pikmin 1, I'll buy the game. I will shell out money to buy the game. I would rather own it than pirate it. I mean, Nintendo, for some reason, has had this grudge against its community. Nintendo hates its community. It just does. They shut down tournaments. They hate that you pirate games, but don't even allow access to games that are old, that they're not even making any sort of profit on. So the mindset, God, come on. They even shut down really cool fan-made hacks of their games. So like the number of really amazing Super Mario 64 hacks out there and Pokemon hacks out there that have been shut down by Nintendo with a cease and desist, it's disgusting to me. That's a topic for another time, though. I won't get lost in the sauce. My point is, Nintendo sucks, and it does suck that the 3DS and Wii U shops are closing. And if you're watching this in time, just go ahead and download your favorite games right now before they're gone for good. Potentially gone for good. There's always a chance that Nintendo will bring them back, but, you know, when is that going to be? Another 20 years? When you're old like me? I'm not old, I'm only 30, but shut up. I think for the record, I do want to say that I do love Nintendo. I mean, just look around my room, but some of the decisions that Nintendo makes are stupid. And I really wish the company would get it together a little bit and really show that they appreciate their community and their fans. They do put out so many cool Legend of Zelda games, Mario games, Pokemon games, with some exception. The last one was super glitchy, but okay. There's a lot of love that people have for Nintendo, and I wish Nintendo would reciprocate that in kind. And now I'm going to go into the Nintendo 3DS shop and just make sure I've downloaded everything I've wanted to before things go horribly awry. I suggest you do the same. Gotta squeeze out a few more dollars from us, right, Nintendo?